Shifting focus to Ask Automotive, it came out with its earnings where it was a beat across all fronts. The highest ever EBITDA margin was recorded in Q3 FY25, and they've also started production of their 18th facility. Now, to discuss as to how the quarter has gone by and with respect to the new production facility as well, we are joined by Kuldip Singh Rathee, Chairman and Managing Director at Ask Automotive, who's joining us now. Welcome to the show, Mr. Kuldip. My first question to you is, it's been the highest ever margin quarter for you. You've recorded margins at 12.1%. I just wanted to understand with respect to the margins, will you hold that 12.1% going forward? And where do you expect FY25 to end at?
Good morning, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to talk to you. Well, this quarter has been our best in terms of margins. We have achieved 12.5%. And first of all, let me assure you that we'll be not only keeping it, we'll try to slightly improve upon it. That's what I can say.
What are the factors that have led to this, Mr. Rathee? If you can help us understand, just so that we understand whether this is, Q4, how does it pan out? Does the trajectory go even further, or have you hit a cap?
See, we have invested very heavily, 600 crores in the last 2 years, as you know, in our Karoli plant and in the 18th plant in Bangalore, which got commissioned on 14th January. Now, as the capacity utilization increases, we'll be just improving and not only maintaining, little bit improving these EBITDA margins.
Okay, so capacity utilization and therefore better operating metrics taking place, right?
Yes,
yes. But is it also a factor of the mix in the revenue that is aiding you? And
yes, mix is also there because as more and more focus on the high margin items, and especially in our ALPS segment, which is the aluminium lightweighting segment, and that is our sunrise sector, because there is the maximum growth in that sector. So there we are doing pretty well.
Can you help me with the breakup currently in the revenue mix, and with this new facility coming on stream heading into FY26, what is going to be the kind of split in the revenue mix?
This year also the split has changed by about 2%. So the aluminium segment is going to 44.5%. And our brake segment is 36.5%. These are the two main sectors, and the safety control cable remains at 4 to 5%.
Right. And Mr. Singh, in terms of the EV...
I just want to ensure, that was the last year's split, right, Mr. Rathee? What happens in FY26?
No, FY26, maybe it gets better by 1% or 2% more.
For the aluminium space, right?
Aluminium space, yes, please.
Okay.
Right. And Mr. Singh, with respect to the EV, what were the kind of revenues for 9 months FY25, and what were the margins like in that segment?
EV, the margins are quite fine because we are doing very tough and complicated products. But the EV volumes are pretty low. They are only 5% of the total vehicle production in the two-wheeler segment.
With respect to the new plant that is,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Singh.
But the way, we have EV, the focus is on the lightweighting and thermal management. So our aluminium section will be more profitable, and it will keep on increasing, provided the number of the EVs percentage increases, in the total.
Got it. And Mr. Singh, since you mentioned the new manufacturing facility at Karnataka, I just wanted to understand as to what kind of products will you be manufacturing there. And you're seeing that you're expecting better capacity utilizations going forward. How much of a revenue uptick are you expecting from that particular plant going forward, let's say by the end of FY26?
See, we are expecting at least 100 crores per month revenue, from that plant. 50 crores per month revenue from that plant going forward in the next year.
Okay, so help me understand then at the top line level, what is the kind of growth that you're anticipating in the new year heading into FY26? And in terms of capacity expansion, what's on the cards? Are we more or less done for now?
We are done for the capacity expansion at this particular moment because we are sorted not only for the next year, we are also sorted for the next 6 months of the next even further financial year. So for 18 months, we are sorted. So any capacity expansion that will come in the maybe second half of this next year, but good part is that our aluminum alloy wheel, which is a new product in the high pressure die casting, that is going to be hit sometimes in the second half of next year, and even that will add to the volumes quite substantially.
Mr. Rathee, then, okay, do you have a question?
As far you asked the growth part,
Yeah.
as far as the growth part is concerned, we have always outperformed the industry, and I'm very, very confident that we'll be growing next year also, at least in the mid-teens, minimum.
I do want to ask on leverage and on debt, right? Because I want to understand how this expansion has been funded and where do the gearing ratios currently stand at?
See, all the internal accruals that we have generated this year or will be generating, that is all going into the expansion. And our debt profile will be much better at the close of the year in spite of such heavy investments. Last year, our debt equity was 0.42. This year, I think, will close at 0.38. And next year, next financial year, will be closing at 0.3. So the debt equity is going to improve every year because we have a clear-cut philosophy that we will not increase our debt beyond the 1-year EBITDA level. And this year also, our debt will be less than our 1-year EBITDA margin.
Got it, Mr. Singh. One last question before we let you go. 2 days to go for the union budget. Your expectations with respect to the budget?
My expectation is last year also the government had allocated a very good amount of funds for the infrastructure sector, that was 11.10 lakh crores, which the government could not spend. So there will be heavy spending probably. That's what is the expectation in Q4 as well as the Q1 of the next year, next financial year. Plus, I feel more and more money will be allotted. This money will definitely flow right to the rural areas, right through the common man. And that's what our customers are, the two-wheelers. So I see a good potential for two-wheelers even next year.
Fantastic.
I remain very positive.
Fantastic. On that note, Mr. Rathee, thank you so much for joining us and for being so frank and sharing all the details that you did.
No, thank you so much. Thank you, Dick. Thank you.
All right.
Good day.
Good day to you as well. All right, so that's Ask Automotive. I just want to very quickly check with Samir. Samir, any thoughts on Ask Automotive and what Mr. Rathee just spoke?
So, we do study the company, although we don't have active coverage on it at the moment. But we think that, look, the growth opportunity for them is there, given the scale-up that can happen in the electric vehicle side in India. Like he said very rightfully, that it's only at 5%. And as that scales up, the aluminum components, because they're lightweight in nature, that product sells more, and you will see that part of the business growing to a larger percentage. And of course, the margins are slightly better there compared to the braking segment. So that would lead to some amount of margin expansion. Growth on mid-teens are about, say, even if he delivers a 15% with some margin expansion, we're talking of about a 20-22% growth in profitability next year. If we assume that and take a PE valuation multiple based on that, I think the stock still trades at about 34 times FY26. Which is a little bit, I wouldn't say cheap, but not expensive. I mean, not cheap, but not expensive either. So, upside in the near term, maybe capped. I think we could see the stock probably consolidate. Corrections down closer to 380 levels could throw out buying opportunities for decent returns. But we believe the long term remains good. Fundamentals are decent. And growth will continue to happen, but they will need to put in more capex after a year and a half. So, in this kind of a business, capex requirement will always remain high. So, cash flow throughout will not be that great. But like I said, growth is good, and as long as the company can continue growing, it makes a decent investment.
Fantastic. Okay. And that's exactly what Mr. Rathee also spoke about. The need for capex will come through maybe after the first 6 months of next financial year. That's certainly something to watch. Samir, thanks so much for that view. Pradeep is calling us from Kerala.